Diamonds have brilliance. With jade, it's a glow.
The opaque stone is tough. The translucent stone is just tougher. Welcome to Jewels of the Trade, the channel for spreading accurate information on jade and gemstones. I'm here with Jeff and Chris Mason, owners of Mason-Kay Jade, the leading supplier of natural jadeite jade jewelry in the United States. And today we're going to be talking about the translucency in jadeite jade. Jeff, Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks for having us.
Let's hit the ground running. Here we have a side-by-side demonstration of translucency in jadeite. We have almost fully transparent jade that you could read through, and on the right we have opaque jade. Let's talk about translucency as a jade value factor along with color and texture. Which value factor is the most important between translucency, color, and texture?
Well, honestly, it depends where you're talking about. I say that because those that know, those in Asia, specifically China, know the texture is most important, and they seem to prefer stones that have very good translucency. Whereas in the Western cultures, where we sell most of our product in the United States, color tends to be more desirable. And we find that Western buyers who don't understand jade quite as well as the Eastern buyer tends to prefer color. So if you have a green stone that is opaque versus a lighter green stone that is translucent, a lot of the Chinese buyers will tend to prefer the lighter green that's translucent, while a lot of the Western buyers tend to go toward the more intense green that is not as translucent and doesn't have as good a texture.
And of course, these are what everybody prefers. Everybody wants, the deflawless diamond. So everybody maybe wants translucent jade, but we're not always wearing and buying translucent jade because it tends to be finer and more expensive.
Chris has a great saying for translucent jade. She always says it's juicy and delicious. That's kind of a sentiment you've gotten from customers, isn't it, Chris?
Yes, I say it because it's true, because when there's a piece that has vivid color with translucency, it looks juicy. It looks edible. It looks like candy.
Yeah.
It makes your mouth water. You have a reaction to it.
So I think this is a really good example of two side-by-side green jade stones. Now they both have translucency, but clearly one has more translucency.
The one with less color is more translucent. So the question is, which one is more valuable?
That's tough. Again, Western buyers, no question, would tend to go for the greener stone. Whereas an Eastern buyer, it's a pretty tough choice because one is clearly better green, but one is clearly more translucent. So that's a tough choice for most Eastern buyers.
So that case, that's really a preference.
Yeah.
Which one speaks to you? Which one do you just prefer? Because there isn't a huge value difference. So really, it's a personal preference at that point.
Is the translucent one going to be more durable, or noticeably more durable, I should say?
Definitely more durable. Yes, that's one of the benefits of translucency that a lot of people don't realize, is that the tighter granular structure that interlocks creates more translucency. And obviously, the tighter that interlocking granular structure is, the stronger the stone. So while jade is known to be very tough, incredibly tough, toughest gem there is only behind its cousin nephrite, the more translucent the stone, the stronger it is.
The opaque stone is tough. The translucent stone is just tougher.
Because the structure is tighter, it takes on a higher polish.
Let's talk about ice jade. Ice jade is it's a term specific to the colorless translucent variety of jadeite. So it's different than white jade, and it's different than water jade.
Ice jade is colorless, and water jade is slightly green, but very translucent. That's why it's categorized as water, not green. When there's less translucency, it's categorized as green.
So would you call this water jade?
It's kind of the icy green, watery, almost water jade. You get the feel where the color is floating.
Delicious. I want to bite into it. It looks so squishy and yummy.
That's part of the glow. You know, when there's translucency, there's a glow. It's a brilliance. Diamonds have brilliance. With jade, it's a glow.
In China, you'll hear some sellers, particularly on the internet, refer to only colorless jade as icy. They'll kind of use the word icy the way that we use the word ice. But here in the States, we use the term icy to indicate translucency, which we can sort of assign to a color. For instance, icy red, icy green.
Icy green and water overlap a bit. So it is difficult to differentiate when you might use the term icy green and when you might use the term water. You can call each of those pieces icy green and you can call each of those pieces water, frankly.
In the fish pendant, you can see that the green is a mixture of sort of ice and water and green. So, I mean, you can see how the green is floating.
So would you call this like icy red?
Ice and icy red, really.
Oh, and the red's floating in there. Oh.
Oh, yes. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
You don't see a lot of translucent red jade on the market. This is a more opaque carving that features red and green. Why do we sometimes see jade that has both red and green in the carving?
Well, the red is the rind of the rock. So it's the outside of the rock, and it becomes that color because of oxidation. Air is able to get into it, seep into some of the fissures and fractures too. So sometimes you'll see reddish lines going into jade,
yellow.
and that's
Right, yellow
yeah,
too.
reddish
Yeah.
yellow.
So is that kind of why translucent red tends to be more rare? Is it because since it's on the outside of the rock, there's probably just less red jade in a boulder?
Well, that's true. There is always less red jade in a boulder. It's usually a fairly thin layer. That's why you never see very thick pieces carved in red. The oxidation tends to make it a little more opaque. So translucent red is more rare, certainly. The vast majority of red you see is far more opaque than that.